Hey guys, so Aeria from MMOs.com with another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending June 6, 2016. This is episode number 46 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week is actually quite big industry news from Aeria Games, and the news is that Aeria Games is merging with Gamigo. The video in the background is Twin Saga, Aeria's newest title. And I technically should have covered this last week as it came out on Monday, but I had already uploaded my video so I missed it. But the gist here is that Gamigo and Aeria Games are merging, and after the merger, Aeria will own 33% of the new company, while Gamigo will own 66%. This is fascinating because it reveals that Gamigo is actually a much bigger company. I didn't know this, and I think most people didn't know this either because both companies are private. No word on whether this merger will affect current or upcoming titles, but if anything, it should create a stronger, better capitalized company, so it should be a net positive for the community. Next up, Blizzard released some official stats for Overwatch, and apparently the game has already over 7 million players. Those players have played a total of 119 million hours for an average of 17 hours per player. And that's 17 hours per player as of June 3rd. So from May 24th, the launch date, to June 3rd, that's 17 hours per player, which is pretty impressive. And Blizzard seems to think so as well, as they called Overwatch one of the most successful global game launches of all time. And I would obviously have to agree as well. I'm having a lot of fun with the game, but I am really looking forward to ranked play later this month. Up next, we have yet another older MMORPG making its way to Steam. This time around, it's Allods Online, which originally launched back in 2010 and has a bit of a checkered history. And I say checkered because despite being a solid, highly polished game at launch, it suffered through a pretty big controversy with a particular cash shop item, which removed the fear of death debuff. The game also changed publishers and is currently published by the game's developers over at MMOs.com. A lot of those initial issues have long since been resolved, so for those curious about the game today, it's actually a pretty polished experience. That's, as of this week, available on Steam, along with the Update 7.0, New Order, which also launched relatively recently. Next up, Nixon announced this week that Lawbreakers' first public alpha test is set to begin on mid-June. And remember guys, Lawbreakers is Nexon's buy-to-play game. It's developed by a company called Bosky Productions. Matt had a chance to check the game out in the past, and he's pretty optimistic about it. And it looks quite fun, but I plan on withholding my judgment until I can actually play it myself. More information about the game will be revealed on June 13th, and from June 6th to 8th, select Twitch streamers will be streaming Lawbreakers. Apparently, I am not one of those select streamers because they did not contact me. But if you want to check the game out, you can sign up for the game's alpha already on the official website. Move right along. AdventureQuest 3 just revealed a new trailer for their Guardian class, which further signals that Artix Entertainment, the guys behind the game, are making progress towards release. Matt actually took a look at the game as well in beta, and he wrote a piece called A Brief Look at AdventureQuest 3D if you are curious. And given that I played AdventureQuest back in the day when I was a lot younger, I kind of want to check the game out myself. Oh, and as is, the game is targeting a summer 2016 release date, so it shouldn't be that far off. Move right along. Battlestate Games announced this week that Escape from Tarkov will be entering closed alpha testing on August 4th. So we have a firm date for when something's going to happen. No word on whether closed alpha means an early access product, or whether people that sign up for beta will get a random chance to enter or not. We'll find out more as August 4th approaches. Next up, Path of Exile Update 2.3, also known as the Prophecy Update, has officially gone live. Prophecy Update brings with it the Prophecy Challenge League in both standard and hardcore formats, as well as new skills, items, and other challenges. Path of Exile is an action RPG that many consider a true successor to Diablo 2. If you haven't played it yet, I strongly recommend checking it out, as it's quite good. Up next, ArcheAge 2.9 Ascension went live this last week, giving guilds the ability to create player-run nations. A nation in the game can be run by one sovereign up to 10 council members, and it can only be formed by a guild who has heavily invested in their Aurorian castles, and I pronounced that terribly wrong. And along with the update comes a new castle upgrading system which allows players to craft castles, upgrade buildings, and things of that nature. They can make markets, farms, warehouses, and other goodies. Also include the update are combat skill adjustments for all 10 combat classes, going through various balance changes as well as other tweaks, as well as tier 7 weapons and armor. Move right along, we have another update for the Elder Scrolls Online. This time they released a new DLC pack that costs 2,000 crowns, or about 20 bucks, and allows players to become assassins for hire or take on bounty quests, contract guild quests, and sacrament quests, and features the Dark Brotherhood from the Elder Scrolls series. Alongside the DLC pack, they released a patch for the game which introduced a bunch of quality of life changes as well as some other updates for the game. Move right along, ambitious action RPG Kings and Heroes hit early access this week. The Unreal Engine 4 powered RPG from Industry Games features a large open world that can hold hundreds of players on each server, as well as dynamically created, procedurally generated dungeons, which sounds pretty cool. I'm surprised other games really haven't done that. The early access version of the game, which is currently on Steam, costs $29.95 and features 6 playable races and 5 classes. As of this video, the game has mixed reviews on Steam with about 170 reviews. I expect the first look for the game relatively soon. The next and last bit of news this week comes from Aeria Games regarding Gloria Victis. After a lengthy closed alpha testing phase, it looks like they are finally launching Gloria Victis on Steam Early Access on June 8th. For those keeping track, the game was first announced back in 2012, so it's been quite a while since it was first announced, and it's finally coming on Steam, which is always nice. Anyway guys, that's it for Major MMO News for the week ending June 6th, 2016. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later guys.